Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Free Akashic Records Readings, Satisfaction Guaranteed, or Your Money Back. I'm Ernesto. I'm your host, and I will be with you here for the next hour or so. And we have Veretta on the line. And it looks like we have quite a full house. So, just to let everybody know who's in queue right now, we are going to get off to caller 916. You'll be our first one. So, just stay tuned after this brief little introduction here, and we'll take care of you. And then we're going to be taking care of Christiana, Andrea or over at area code 703, and then Stacy will get over to you at area code 904. Now, just want to let everybody know that we are putting a hard line and ending the show at 7 p.m. or as close to it as what we can, just because we've got other commitments and things that we need to take care of in these evening hours. So if you're really concerned and want to make sure that you get your questions taken care of, then be sure to go over to paypal.me/Uranus happens. Donate $10 to the stream. That'll buy you a front of the line pass. And just be sure to leave your callback number so I know who you are if I've read you before. That'll all be available also on eastrologer.tv on my personal website. You can see all of that stuff over there. Now, Veretta, what is it that we need to know for the first half of this week coming ahead?
Well, between now and Sunday, I think for lack of better ways of trying to explain it, I think people are going to start to feel the heat. And it really doesn't matter where they're at. They're just going to start to feel it, whether it's a temperature heat or their own personal life heating up, whatever it may be. Heat's happening. It's not going to be a difficult type of thing. It just feels long. It feels like it's just never ending. And so it may be kind of, some of us that are more goal-based and task-oriented, like to get our stuff done and move on. And this isn't going to be one of those times. It feels like probably you're taking 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. And it's just, like I said, feels very laborious from now until Sunday.
Well, and here's the other thing, too. I want to sort of continue our discussion from the Alchemy Annex this past weekend on that show, talking about I Choose Me. Another big point within the concept or realm of I Choose Me is about our boundaries. And I've really been presented with a lot of issues when it comes to boundaries over the past week or couple of days here, where it's just sort of like, I need to put up a sharp wall to let you know that that is not okay. Like, I am not going to do what you want me to, regardless of who you think you are or relationship we have together. There are certain lines that I just won't cross, either because I don't have the time or because it's not valuable to me, or very simply just because I know that this other person just isn't going to appreciate the effort. So then sort of like, what is all of that worth? The way it translates for a lot of us is it's just kindness and niceties and compliments and things like, oh, you're so great, you're so wonderful, and everything else. Well, all of that is terrific, but it's only good as far as we can actually throw it. Now, you might be able to put that into an email. Again, that has a little bit more weight, but once we print out that paper, not very great because we can't throw that very far. So that's sort of the thing that I've really been working on over the past couple of days is what are the boundaries that I need to establish for myself? And if those lines are sharp and the intention is to let people know this is the way it works and this is the law of the land, what comes as a result of that is really based on my own actions. And what's funny is that the snowflakes of the world will feel so defensive and marginalized and attacked by the fact that somebody is deciding to have a boundary and say, you know what, I'm not doing this for you, I'm sorry. But the reality is it really isn't about you, it's about me. I need to protect myself and my own resources, or more importantly, my time, because that's definitely the one thing I can never get back. So that's a huge issue for a lot of people, and it's quite scary when we're dealing with these things in life is how do I establish boundaries and so that everybody can win? And more importantly, what is the function of that boundary? Why am I establishing this? That's really sort of what you have to step back and ask yourself here.
Definitely, and it gives speculation room to rear its head up, and everybody has their own opinion about the way things work. So you need to establish your foundation on something that you thought was very whole and very, honest and very just, and you get down the road and take a look back and think, I don't know what I was thinking, but this isn't it. You have to give yourself permission to say, all right, I got myself in a little bit of a pickle. I got to get outside of this box because this doesn't fit me. And I'm okay to say that in this version of me first, you don't fit. So ultimately, if a person is hoping to stay that way, being nothing ever changes, you're also saying you don't want growth, because that also can mean our opinions and our values change. And we really have a fit when people try to shape us into their box, and we don't fit that narrative.
And then here's another thing that's really key is that for a lot of us, if we categorize the universe as positive and negative, then what's the middle ground, right? Like my worldview is quite polarized in a lot of ways, and it works for me in that regard. So I'm very happy with it, and I'm not looking to change that. But I mean, if the function of the boundary is I'm doing this to either protect myself, I'm doing this to either save you from yourself, or I'm going to cave in and do what you want me to because I'm a nice person or that kind of thing. Sometimes the correct thing to do is to just not do anything at all. Just don't engage. That is the best thing that we can do. Non action. This is something that a lot of us sort of forget. Acknowledge that it's a thing and tuck that in the back of your mental filing cabinet, but otherwise just walk the heck away. You don't have to say anything. Like when you're walking on the street, if somebody calls you fat and you've never met this person in their entire life, and they scream some insult at you while they're smoking a cigarette passing by, are you actually going to stop something? Are you actually going to stop in your tracks, turn around, and accost this person however you're going to do that? I don't think so. I think the vast majority, there might be some people with anger issues, but when we talk about taking the high road in this case is to do nothing. And that's a huge piece for a lot of us that we tend to forget is because I was called to action, because I am hot and bothered in this moment, I have to do something to make the pain and suffering go away. And if that's by fighting back, then I'm going to do that. I've tried this, and anger is really quite primitive. Defensive is really quite primitive. It doesn't help us at all to go forward. So what I've just decided over time is if you want to call me a fat ass when you're passing me on the street, fine, I don't care. I'm probably thinking about other things anyway, and you weren't one of them anyway to begin with. So that's a huge thing for a lot of us, that we just can't get into that mindset of, I don't have to poke the bear at this exact moment.
And just because our value and our state doesn't please you, it doesn't mean that we should recoil and reshape ourselves because you don't like it.
Right. And that we can do everything that we can to appease a person or a situation. But if we still fall short of expectations, then that's actually the reason why we don't get involved, is because we gave so much of ourselves and really went out of our way to handle these issues, and then we're not being appreciated. So then it just kind of makes us want to curl up into a ball and become a xenophobe that hates everybody and everything, like somebody pissed in your cereal this morning kind of thing. But that's so unnecessary. That's why I choose me, is because I don't want to get involved, because I know what that story in that movie looks like, and it's not great. I'm just saving my own energy is really what I'm doing here.
Well, and it isn't about trying to hate, but it is about trying to build defensive boundaries that will work for you and everybody. So everybody's comfortable not having to walk on eggshells because somebody doesn't like the way you say whatever you say. So when you're comfortable enough in your skin that you're walking down the road, an idiot screaming out the window, "You're a fat ass." If you're so comfortable in your skin that you can see that happen, you'll be the person walking down the road looking for the fat ass they're talking about. You're not even going to think they're talking about you because you don't even know them. Why would they care about you? And your brain automatically shuts it down, goes into polite mode, and just carries on because you never seen the fat ass that they were actually talking about. So this is the way it is.
Well, on that note, we are going to get off to our phone lines for today, and we're going to start off with our first caller from area code 916. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Hi, my name is Christy, and my date of birth is September 12th, 1977.
September
And
12th
you
of
need to know the time I was
77?
born?
Perfect. Yes. What time were you born?
11:29 p.m.
Okay. All right. And where were you born?
in Sacramento, California.
Perfect. All right. And Christy, do you have a question for us, or would you just like a general reading today?
This is my first time calling. So general, I'm not sure. I'm not even sure what acoustic means when I was reading your website. I don't even know if I'm saying that right.
I'm sorry, what was that again?
The acoustic records, what's that mean?
Oh, the Akashic Records. Okay. So sure, let me
Akashic. Sorry.
yeah, so this is the record of your soul and sort of what you came here to do and everything. And this is going to tell us about who you are, what you were born into this life with, and what the potential of all of your actions is. This is really just alchemy. All of the planets have a positive and negative polarity to it, and it's your choice through your own actions how you want those planets to resonate. So what you can get out of life is totally dependent on where you are right now. If you're watching our YouTube cast, actually, I have your chart up here on the screen. And so what's happening is the fact that we have all of these planets. There's 3 different chart rings. There's charts 1, 2, and 3. And the first chart on the innermost ring is the one that's talking about who your soul is in the past. Like, what were you born into this world with? That's the past aspect of you. When we look at the second chart, that's based off of math and science. So it's an exact replication of the first chart, except every planet has moved forward by a certain degree value that is based on your physical age here on this earth. So these are the issues that are affecting you currently. These are the things that are affecting you right now. The third chart that we're seeing is the charts out in the sky, or the planets out in the sky. So this is indicative of the future. Every single person on the planet is affected by those planets. So this is going to be for the collective. Now, when we read all 3 of them together, the past, present, and the future, that is the record of your soul, known as the Akashic Records. So that's really what we're looking at here. We use 8,000 formulas to ask questions about literally anything and everything, to tell a full story and picture about where you are in life and what your options really sort of are in any given moment on any topic of your choice. So, I mean, if you're before you called the show today, if you're wanting to know about, like, hey, what does my career have to say, or, like, I'm worried about my job or my family or my boyfriend or that kind of thing, we can definitely give you a reading based on that information. So that's one of the really beautiful things about what we do here in Uranian Astrology, is that we can look at all of this information put together and say, this is the answer based on your soul matrix DNA, what you were born into this life with. Here are the options that are available to you in this moment.
Oh, well, thank you for explaining that to me. That's interesting.
So now I have to ask you, Christy,
Well,
would you like a general reading about health, love, career, or do you have a question for us?
Love.
Okay.
I'm with somebody, and I've been with them for a long time. And
what is their name?
I just want to see if he's in my future or not.
What is their name?
His name is Martin Jimenez. His name is Martin Jimenez.
Okay, Martin. Veretta, what you got for Christy about Martin here?
Okay. Christy, so this is where I tell you, take everything in a so just told you and put it in a box, because I work entirely differently. I am the spirituality that meets science. And what I give to you is strictly intuition and an empath perspective of, and that's what they do for romance, because empaths are all about emotion. So let's look at Martin. Martin, oh baby. Okay, so Martin, I know you want me to tell you he's the one till death does do you part, and if you are that, will it get better? And I can't say either of those things. Now, having this been the first time you've listened to us, you'll get a lot from us, or me specifically, that you're going to be like, I don't know, right? And then it happens. So that's what I'm going to have to tell you on this. This is one of those things where I can give you markers to show you what's going to take place, but ultimately he's not the one. And I feel like it will kind of come right down to, you'll have somebody else enter into your heart, and you're going to be stuck in a situation where you don't know which one. So I would say, before you get stuck in that situation, ask yourself why you're willing to accept someone in your heart to begin with. All right? And you know he's not already.
Exactly.
So I'll I'll let Ernesto see what he can say, because it may give you a little more clarity on when and what has to take place before you're not feeling it so much. And I really don't feel it's on you. I feel it's on him. And it's not something that, like I said, it's not, it'll reach a boundary. If you want to just continue on with that theme, it'll reach a boundary you don't let anybody cross on. So don't worry about when or if or any of that. Just be ready and waiting to understand that when it happens, Christy, it's because you're no longer meant to be with this someone, and it's time to move on to someone else. I understand. I put a lot of years into this individual. I don't want to train him. I get all that, but spirit's got other values, and they always know which ones are right, and hope you try to aspire to those as well. So I'll give Ernesto the opportunity to tell you what he has on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Christy, taking a look at this now, I'm curious, what is it that you do in spirituality? Like, not everybody finds our show just because randomly. So I'm curious what it is that you do in your spiritual practice that led you to us, or that is similar to what we do here.
Like, learning a lot of things. I feel like I'm not sure yet.
Okay, that wasn't a very good connection. I think I understood that you said you're just trying a lot of things. Is that right?
No, it's not new to me. I just feel I'm very like empath, but I'm not sure yet. Like, you know, I'm learning a lot of things about myself.
Okay, so the thing that I see about like a relationship, like especially with this person, is that it's really just more of a thought and a fantasy than anything else. Kind of like, ooh, what's that? I really want that again. That seems very attractive to me. But really, what I'm seeing here the most is that these feelings are all being kicked up because of what you're doing with yourself spiritually. So that means that as you expand your consciousness through experience and information, that this is also bringing thoughts to the forefront of this person from your past, like, oh, I want to, maybe that might work out after all, or like, what is the function of this relationship to me? Like, why am I still thinking about it today? Well, very simply, what I can see here is that this is sort of like a gateway into your intuition. So whatever it is that you can gain from an intuitive or an empathic perspective, that's always going to bring like some type of like love energy, where you're wanting to, get lost in this fantasy of rose-colored glasses and everything is kittens and rainbows. It feels oh so great, like a warm fuzzy blanket. I totally understand that, because like when we really dive deep into spirit, what we realize is that there's a lot of love that's there that we may not have felt in the past. So the best advice that I could give you based on what I'm seeing here in this particular chart is, I really want to see you getting out and more around other people, specifically large amounts of people. So do more of what you can to get out of yourself, to be around other psychic groups or spiritual groups, meditation circles, these kinds of activities. I really feel like would very much benefit you right now. And that'll not only just silence the noise of this relationship piece of, oh, this is something that I think that I want right now. It'll also kind of give you some new direction. As far as the actual relationship piece is concerned, I think that that's a little bit more off into the future. There is a new relationship on the horizon. I want to say very imminently, very close. So this is probably going to be sometime this year that you're going to come into contact with somebody, and that will allow you some new opportunities. But again, who you attract in that case is really going to be the result of how firmly are my feet planted into the ground in this reality, because all of that mental stuff that I've been thinking about, that's just not going to happen, and I have to let it go. And how I'm going to let that go is through my own spiritual work and me working on myself. So that's kind of the long and short of what I'm picking up here in this chart. Retta, is there anything else that you're getting, or is that sort of what you were picking up too?
Well, and I would say it's what you're getting, as well as the fact that she has to find herself, and I think that's what her whole call into the show was to be told that regardless of who she ends up with in the future, she needs to be okay with herself. And that way, the things about the past that she's not that feeling happy about, she can make up for it. She chooses to do so. Karma points, if you will. I would say that most definitely she's right on the cusp of learning to become more of who she really is and always has been, always are. And so this is going to give you opportunity to grow and get to that point to where you're going to know what the value of yourself is. Because right now it's getting harder and harder not to try to believe one of these people's ideas of who you are, because they just don't. It may be what they see of you, but it's not who you really are, and it's not something you want to carry the consideration of any longer either. So changing you is how you do that.
Yeah, and to add to that,
I think that's what I need. Yeah.
To add to that, Christy, just another piece here is that it's almost as if you're like boy crazy to an extent, like, you're willing to just sort of take anybody who will give you attention, and whether if that's friendly, romantic, or otherwise, it's just the fact that you're having the interaction with people, which is a change for you. So it's, again, kicking up all of these flustered feelings that you're not really too familiar with these days. And what's happening, though, is that a lot of these people are just going to kind of go away. They will drop off by the wayside, and it's sort of like it's a reminder of the things, essentially of your shadow self, of the things that you don't like about you as far as like a wife or a partner, and what it is that you need to work on for yourself. So that's why you keep attracting these people. If, let's say, if you were to go onto Tinder or any of those other types of platforms, you're going to get hit up the yin yang, and who you talk to today will be different from tomorrow and the day after that, and so on. And that's all okay, but like you're realizing, oh, so this person that I'm talking to today, this is some stuff that I've dealt with in the past, or like this other person that I'm talking to tomorrow, they're bringing up some dirt about myself that I really just don't like, that I've kind of failed to address. Maybe I need to go to a Pilates studio. Maybe I need to go do some spin class. Whatever activity is that makes you happy, there's some change that you're just being called to, and that's why all of these people are being brought your direction. So I just want to let you know that you're going to have a lot of interactions here, and kind of feel them out, but don't let anything get too serious. I think that as you kind of get out of the fog of this fantasy that is no longer meant to be, then you'll really start to find yourself and realize, oh, so this is the type of person that I want. And just to give you a bit of a preview, I guarantee you your partner looks nothing at all like you think they look like.
Okay.
It's just a way of the universe. It always works like that. It gets very quiet before you meet them. It's totally out of the blue, like sort of like a chance meeting or a coincidence. And it's not anybody in a million years you would have ever settled down with or would have come up with. They just kind of show up really just on a silver platter. And everything just clicks into gear from there.
Okay. Well, I thank you guys, because I know all this is true, and I know I've lost myself. I've never dated in my life because out of high school I was in this relationship, and I'm 45 now, and I've lost myself, and I'm not happy, and I know he's not happy. It's just we have to admit it, I guess, and move on. And I don't know.
Well, and not too. You're also going to remember you're taking yourself out of a very comfortable zone that you've been in for a long time too.
Exactly.
It not windows didn't shatter, so to speak, so you could tolerate it. Well, you can't even tolerate it anymore. So be ready. You'll embrace it, lovely. I'll see you there. I'll see your name.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
For sure. Well,
Christy, I appreciate it.
We really want to thank you for giving us a call today for your first time. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and we'll catch up with you real soon.
Thank you. Can I stay listening?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll put you back on, and you can just listen to the rest of the program. Okay, thanks a lot, and we'll catch up with you. Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Many blessings and good night.
Bye-bye.
Okay. All right. So we are going to take a quick break. I'm having some computing issues. I will be back with you in about 2 minutes. Everybody stay on the line, and we're just going to take this quick break while I figure out what the heck is going on with these chart files.
Will they not hear me either?
No, it has to do with my computer and the chart files, because this is all sort of just weird. So let me handle this.
So
it'll be like
party
2
time,
minutes.
everybody run for it now.
Oh, actually, Veretta, I guess you could talk about something. We don't even really need to have music anymore because you're a co-host. I forget about that.
Oh, all right.
So let me pass it
So
off
you
to
talking?
Veretta. Veretta, what is it that, talking about Christy and, sort of this whole process of self-discovery where we lose ourselves, what are some ways that we can sort of find ourselves again?
Yeah. Okay. I got some. So one of the things that I very often see are people around the 40, 45 age mark, call it the midlife crisis for nothing, folks, get to that point to where they slam headlong into a wall and they don't know what to do with themselves anymore. They're so miserable that, and one of the biggest miseries is they don't know why. They're supposedly got the perfect partner, the perfect life, the perfect this, the perfect that. Should be everything perfect, but it really isn't. And it's been full of strife for a long time. And all of a sudden you decide one day, all right, I'm hearing about this Me Too movement. What if I stand up and say Me Too? I have a right to be happy. What's going to crumble from that? And that right there is the first obstacle. The what if, that stops us dead in our tracks from wanting to do anything different or better. The reality of it is, from this point now, folks, I'm going to bring up other opportunities for you to understand. It's time to go and why it won't, but I'm going to start with the why it won't, so you already know the end line punch. If you don't make decisions in your life that are for the path that you're supposed to be on, Spirit has autocorrect. Okay? Now, as much as we have free will, they will take things out of our life. They will bring things on. They will make us do what we have to see really where we're missing it. And once we go ahead then and give ourselves permission to, point two, giving ourselves permission, because with that comes all types of verbs. Selfish, soulless, just all kind of things that words can really hurt, because we are trying to do what's right, what we innately feel feeds our souls, and we're being told we're wrong for it. Now, whether it's by the person we're with, whether it's by the family we grew up with, whether it's by the whole environment we built around ourselves, it doesn't matter who is telling us that, oh, you've got it good, you can suck it up. Other women have it worse, or other people have it worse. You know what? Yeah, they do. But they're not me, and I'm not them, and this is about that. This is about me being okay with accepting permission and the fact that whatever I needed to learn, I've learned. And I've come up to a point where I need to now graduate on from that and be willing to accept more. Third point, be willing to accept more. Because from the second one, we can jump right off into self-pity and stay there forever, literally die there, versus get up and say, hey, you know what, I want more. Maybe I have to own my share of the crappiness in that relationship and why it went bankrupt, but I have a right to have what I have in my heart feels I know I have a right to. So you keep judging, or you keep putting yourself in positions where you judge each person more and more by what they're not than what they are. They're not that perfect thing that you created an idea for yourself. So now you've given yourself permission, you've gone on down the road, and now you're looking for someone that might be an eligible bachelor. And instead of really introduce yourself to him and start to flirt, you basically hit him over the head and start a job interview right off the bat. Do you like children? Would you like the color blue? Would you be just want to feet up? And if they don't check off on this petty little cross list for you, and I'm going to take it to that, but the reality of it in your life, people, that stuff is petty in comparison to what there are other things that we stress about. So let me back up. Let me keep going. One of the things you have to understand is this is just as much a right for you to have your life as happy as you want it to be as anyone else is that's willing to take it away from you. So you have to be willing to step up and say, no, that's not happening anymore. Put your hand up, top of the hand, says, my ears aren't listening. And let me know what else I can do for you later, because I'm going out. Just keep talking. You have to say, it's okay for me to want what I want as much as it's okay for them to want what they want. But the reality of it is how bad do we encroach upon each other to try to enforce that? And how many times do we make it dependent upon the other to have that take place? Well, I won't be happy because they're not the type of person that gets up early and they don't stay up late, or they don't party, or they don't cook 4 meals a day, and they don't run around naked, because I like to see my women naked. It's not about what they want. It should be about who you are together. And so when you're ready to start making strides in creating new relationships in your life, then you also have to strive for being open-minded on how you're going to get it, and not like color it into a box that you can't ever find anybody in the millions of colors, algorithms there are to fit it. All right, so I think our Ernesto may be back.
Yep, I am back. Thank you so much for that, Britta. Wow, what terrific
Yay.
information. I really love this, that we work together. And we basically, what's so interesting about me and Britta is that we do the same thing, except we have totally different viewpoints about it. And I even did like a reading for you by YouTube a few days ago, Britta, and I sent it to you. And I don't know what you were getting on your end, because we very rarely catch up with each other, because everything's always perfect between us. So I always find it interesting that we come up with the same conclusions. We just have different methods of delivery.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And that's why we can say this as easily as we can. The Alchemy Annex, and only in the prelude to, we have quantum physics, we have metaphysics just in a spirituality, we have spirituality in worldly or universal concepts. We have so much to offer, the diversity of what I channel, what I have the experience of, what my education brings to the table, what you've taken the time to grow and learn and know since that first time you sat with me. I don't even know, 100 years ago. No, maybe not that old.
I still had all my hair.
Yeah, I know, huh? Right? Well, you know what? I think this is where everything does come back together. And so it works well that we can do this after that much time.
I do want to say hello to Andrea out there at, let me see here, at area code 703. I do want to thank you for stopping by. We hope to catch up with you real soon. And I know we just spoke with Christy, so sort of out of the same vein, let's catch up with Christiana here over at area code 651. Hi, Christiana. Are you on the air? Can you hear me right now?
Hi, yes.
Okay, I just want to confirm with you. You were born on January 13th of 86. Is that right?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. I got your chart up. Now, I have a question for you. Do you have a question for us, or would you like a general about health, love, or career?
Well, mine is more about spirituality.
Okay. All right.
It is about a dream I had. Can I ask about that?
Okay, sure. Go for it.
Okay, so in the part of the dream I was being attacked by someone from my past, and this goddess called, it's pronounced Maha. She showed up in the dream, and she put her left hand against my hand, and we were like staring at each other, and I just got the sense that she was like defending me. It was like a battle, basically, against this person. And I'm just wondering if if there's more of a message, or is she just saying that she's there?
Now, I do have a question for you, though. When was the dream? Do you have a date and time for me? Because we have a formula for that, by the way.
Oh, no, I mean, I think it was just a few days ago. I don't have a specific time.
Okay, so just a quick PSA to everybody who's listening. One of the things that's really beautiful about Uranian astrology that I can do is, if you have a dream that really jarred you and caught your attention, keep a dream journal, and with nothing else except for like the day and the time that it happened, with a brief sentence about what it was. And I can actually run that formula in your chart to see where your soul was in the ethers at that moment. I've actually done this before, done dream analysis. And what's really creepy and kind of spooky is the fact that I can look at where your soul is in any given moment. It won't tell me where your soul goes to, because your consciousness is not of this world, but it'll definitely show me all of the things that you're working out in your unconscious mind.
I'm sorry
Wow.
about that. I wish I had the specific time and all that.
No worries. It's new information to a lot of people, but I know Veretta and I, we've talked on the show about ghosts before, which is something that I don't profess to work with, but we have a formula for ghosts, and I was able to read into those types of questions. So it is just so amazing everything that we can do with this astrology. Now, Veretta, I'm going to pass this one off to you to see what you have to say to Christiana about Maha and what's happening with that.
Okay, so most definitely something about the past is coming back up in regards to what's going to happen in the future. So it's like you're driving along the road and you got a mark that says the animal's next 10 miles ahead. That's basically what this dream was about, is because something's going to begin. And I'm feeling very comfortable in saying that it's not going to end the way you either have ever envisioned or it's ended before. I want to say that. And you're not going to walk away feeling the same. Now, feeling. I want to come to the emotion part of this. When you walked away from that dream or woke up from it, what were you feeling? What were your emotions in that moment that you woke up and realized, wow, that was a dream?
I just felt protected, defended, like someone was sticking up for me and helping me.
So
Yeah.
you're getting called. You're getting called to step up. And again, this individual that was a defensive pose, basically, to make sure you have a large protection around you, So I want to say, I can't, and Ernesto probably will do this better. I feel that whatever it was, again, like I said before, whatever it was, that this has always been a breaking point or a mutable cause, it's not going to end that way this time. So with your heart is so heavy sometimes, you don't even know why. You know, it feels so down and you just can't pinpoint those reasons during those time frames. Well, this is where that shift is going to make that kind of hardship in your heart go away, and you'll be able to focus on something more now. So that's the other thing I think Ernesto probably will bring in to the focus for you. So I'll let you go ahead and pick it up, Ernesto, and see what else you got.
Okay, now I have a question
Thank
for you,
you.
Veretta. Are you when you're talking about that change? Do you feel like, because this is what I see in the chart, is that it's kind of like a change of staff, like the characters and the environment go away or they are replaced by better versions, like the players who are involved are not of the best, highest vibration that we would really like to work with here. So I really get the sense that what's going on for you, Christiana, is that this dream is indicative of like the fear of letting go of, like, I can't do this yet. I'm not sure if this is something that I want, and you've probably had the experience in your day-to-day life about a connection, a person, a situation, a relationship, whatever, that you just realize this is not for me. And I don't know why, but something about it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Or maybe you do understand what's going on and you're just too afraid to let go because there's bondage involved, such as they pay your bills or some other type of situation where you absolutely have to keep them around, like even a family member, and acknowledging that I do not have to keep this person around out of duty and respect to my family, because in a lot of Latin cultures where I come from, your family always comes first. And even if Uncle Chester is a creep that nobody likes, we still always put him before our own needs because we're family. That's just how we do. And I think that what you're dealing with in this dream scenario is that you're just sort of afraid to let go of these people because it's too scary of the unknown of what's going to happen afterwards. And the Tao Te Ching, they actually talk about that the plan B in our lives never comes to the forefront until the plan A that we have been working with has been fully exhausted. So a lot of people always ask you, well, what's your plan B? What's your backup plan in case things go sour? I never, ever have one. The plan B, very simply, is I'll deal with that when the time comes, because that's not right now and I need to be here now. And that is the most important thing of all. So I think that this dream, again, comes down to these people and letting go of them and that fear of the unknown and a lot of what's involved. But the goddess comes down to protect you and say, you know what, it's going to be okay. Even though these people and structures may not be there for you anymore, you're still going to be fine on your own with what you know how to do because we have better things that are coming for you. That's sort of what I get here. And I just very simply asked a question about your shadow self because I don't have the dream data to be able to look at that. So because there's a lot of fear involved in that dream, I figured that's got to deal with the shadow self. So that's kind of what I'm looking at here is that this is just sort of like addressing the fears of letting go.
Okay. I thought I would add too that I did see a big moth the other day, and I know those can be symbolic of like a death and like rebirth or something.
Yeah, rebirth, don't go death, just say change. Just transition into something else, like the butterfly from the cocoon. The moth represents the same. Only the moth has got a little bit more integrity to it. They don't count on their dazzle and prettiness to get them by. They don't see themselves that way.
It is all going to work itself out. And what I'm going to say here is I want to say that like it'll be this year that you finally take those big steps to move forward. And you're just going to say, you're just going to get fed up to the point where you're going to realize to hell with all of this and all of you people. I'm just ready to rip off the Band-Aid because this is too long that I've been like this. So you're just, if you get pissed off and just make some major life changes that cause upheavals and things that you didn't see coming, just roll with it because that's really all on you. And it's exactly what your soul wanted is that you would just get frustrated to all get out, that you're just willing to do whatever it takes to change it. And you will prevail. It will be something that you're actually really going to like, and how that things will start changing and moving around for you. So I think you are headed in the right direction. It's just a matter of coming to that realization of I'm ready to let go now. Like I had a dream last night even where I went out on a date with somebody and it was really hot and really steamy, doing all of the things that I like, and then we end up going to some place where it gets even more intense. And then at the very end of it, they say, do you want to do more? And then I say, I really can't. I would love to. And this is hitting all of the notches that I would normally be into. But unless you are truly willing to see me for who I am as a person, then I don't want anything to do with what you have to offer. For me in my life story, that's pretty huge that I've come to that conclusion at a subconscious level.
Good for you. Yay. Yeah, that's more than better. Good for you, buddy.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. So I just want to let you know it is coming. And if you do have any other dream questions, just be sure to write down those dates and times, and then I can look at those formulas for you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you both.
Yep, thanks for everything, and we'll catch up with you soon. Take care and many blessings. Until next time.
You too.
Okay, and we are going to get off here to Stacy at area code 904. I do want to say hi to Maddie over here at area code 770. Thank you so much for joining us. Let me take a look at a couple of things here. All right, and we are kind of coming to the end of our show, and before we catch up with Stacy here, I just want to let everybody know on our YouTube stream, we are switching to a paid patron model, which will allow us to do so much more that goes above and beyond what we normally offer here on the show. It's just a different tier of service, unlike any other. And we have plans beginning as low as $8 a month. So we are going to be changing this show. Next week will be the last week of regular operations. And then starting in July, this show will be moving to second and fourth Thursday. And we'll be with you guys for an hour. So we will be changing that up coming up next month. But our regular Wednesday call-in shows, those will be for our patron members. And you can sign up on our website, which is listed in our link tree, and you can sign up as low as $8 a month, and you get all of these terrific benefits. If you sign up at our at our Alchemist tier at $25 a month, you even get a personalized invocation or mantra to use in your daily spiritual practice. So we have all kinds of amazing things going on here, and also most importantly, I think the biggest benefit of all is the fact that you will get access to our Discord server, which will be private for members only, and all of you who are on spiritual journeys, you'll be able to communicate with each other and compare notes and those kinds of things. It's really kind of neat. We've never done something like this before. This has always been a dream of mine, but it's just the natural progression of our brand and what we do here. So we will be we will be switching into that model starting in July. So let's catch up with Stacy here at area code 904. Hi, Stacy, you're on the air. Can you hear me right now?
I can hear you. Hi.
Okay, perfect. Now, let me pull up your chart. Do you have a question for us, or would you just like a general about health, love, or career?
Career.
Okay, Veretta, what you got for Stacy?
Hi.
Hi.
Wait, I'm sorry. Before we get started, I just want to confirm, Stacy, you were born on December 26th. Is that right?
The 16th.
The 16th. Okay, and in 67?
72.
Wow. Okay. All right. I don't have your info in here. And what time were you born? I'm so sorry.
8:30 p.m.
Okay. All right. And where were you born?
Jamaica.
Jamaica. Kingston?
Spanish Town.
Spanish Town. Okay. All right. I got you here. All right. Now, Veretta, what you got for Stacy here?
All right, Stacey, we're looking at career. I think what I'm feeling more than anything else predisposed to say to you, we both know it's going to take a big move on your part to make that happen. Now, when I say move, I don't know if that's theoretically, literally, or whatnot. I'm just throwing words at and being told what to say. I'm a little puppet, you know. And one of the things I feel that you've been waiting on and for, either you're going to have to put it away for a little while, or you're going to have to do both of something, that and something else, until you're sure of what you're really, where you're wanting to go do this. Now, I don't know why I feel like I see the opportunity of the going somewhere may very well be different. Because I see you operating a lot online. I'm not sure if that means that's where you're going to go or how you're going to get to wherever you need to be. But there's going to be changes in your thinking as far as what you want to have happen or what you think should happen. And once those changes occur, that'll get you a little bit more open-minded to accepting that you are actually limiting yourself by what you thought you should have, and that what you're actually capable of getting is so much more. So I don't know if you're already looking. I don't know if you're, like I said, kind of hanging out waiting for something that to occur that you're wanting. It will, because you're going to have to put it away. It's not going to be the first thing that jumps right out. You're going to have a whole new form of thought, a whole new philosophy about what you're willing to do for make a living, and not think it's any worse or better than anything else. It's just making a living until that time frame comes that what you want to happen will. Now, Ernesto may probably be able to give you a whole lot more detail on that. So I'll let him take it away now.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Now, Stacy, taking a look at your chart, are you unemployed at the moment?
Yes.
You are. Okay. All right. So is that sort of what prompted in your call today? Is that you're just wanting to know when that's going to change?
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, from what I'm seeing here and what's going on in your chart, there are new jobs on the horizon. They're just not what you want. They're sort of unpleasant. They're actually kind of like beneath you. And I hate to say this, but you're probably going to be wise to take one of those. Otherwise, then we're having really serious conversations about your livelihood and what comes after that, where it kind of gets a little bit dark and uncomfortable. It doesn't have to escalate to that, though. So I think that, you'd be probably looking at a lot of entry-level service kinds of positions. Those are going to be the ones that you would get the most types of callbacks from. That would be right away on the interim. And I do think that taking a look at, put the dial back. Sorry, I had a fire on the other screen. Oh, this is lovely. Great. Okay. So 5111. Okay, perfect. So yeah, there, and I want to say that there's also going to this is going to create a career shift or a change for you, and again, it might not be what you want, but it's going to send you in a direction that is really going to be quite surprising. I want to say that this is going to put you into like management or into a salaried position, you know, the job of your dreams kind of stuff, the really good stuff that you haven't had in a long time. This is going to be the result of you taking a job that was really kind of sucky, you know, like something that was entry level, like working in a call center or, you know, working other some type of service position. These aren't, nor these may not be the types of positions that you would choose for yourself, but they're going to be the ones that are going to get you off the best for where you need to be going. So, as far as a job is concerned, I want to say that start looking for positions at companies that deal with responsibilities and skill sets that you know how to do, but are really almost too easy because they're just sort of beneath you, or the company itself isn't maybe doesn't look the best because it's like, I don't know, working HR for Subway or for Safeway, you know, which is a grocery store where I live. I know that if you do a lot of corporate level types of jobs, it may not seem like the best, but that's going to open the door for some other types of opportunities for you. And I see that those opportunities are on the horizon. And this is also going to be the year when you sort of get that career shift into gear and that all starts get moving for you. So it all kicked off as a result of you being unemployed. So you not having a job at the moment is what's giving you all of these thoughts and creating the energy with your actions of where you should be going. And that's going to be this year.
Okay.
All right. Well, Stacey, it was
All
great to
right.
have you on the show. Be sure to give us a call back and let us know how it turns out.
I will. Thank you.
Thanks so much. We'll catch up with you soon. Until next time, many blessings.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay, and let me see. We have a lot of calls in queue. We unfortunately we can't get to everybody tonight just because we are sort of running out of time here. We'll take our last call from area code 347, and let me just make a couple of looks here. Okay, and we will be back with you guys again on Sunday at 10 a.m. for a 1 hour show. That'll be our regular call-in show. Again, the next week will be normal operations until we switch to our patron model in July. So here we go with area code 347. Hi, you're on Celestial Intersections Radio. May I have your name and date of birth, please?
Linda. I'm born April 10th, 96.
Linda, have I read you before?
I think so.
Okay,
But it must have been a long time ago.
the name is familiar. Let me see. No, I don't have you in the system here. Okay, so that's April 4th, 96. And at what time were you born?
No, April 10th.
April 10th. I'm so sorry. What time were you born?
I think 7:50 or one of those.
In the AM or
Yeah.
PM?
PM.
Okay, and where were you born?
In Brooklyn.
Okay, Brooklyn. And
Yeah.
Linda, do you have a question for us, or would you just like a general about health, love, or career?
Career.
Okay, Veretta, what you got for Linda about career?
Okay, so there really isn't anything changing on that front. I don't feel like there isn't going to be anything real expansion-wise, room to move, explore, go higher, whatever. I'm really not seeing much anything other than what you're doing now overall. However, I do see interest and peace in the energy of your life that suggests every once in a while something noteworthy or storytelling worthy is going to happen that leaves you going, whoa, that was just crazy, and you'll end up stepping up in the limelight, stepping up to be in the limelight, not because that's what you're doing, but because it's a byproduct. Limelight's a byproduct of whatever you did. So automatically you didn't think about what the end result was going to be. So every once in a while you're going to have those spurts. And even up to now, people have pushed you outside of your comfort zone every once in a while to see if they could maybe get you to move a little farther outside of your comfort. And that just didn't end well for a lot of people. So what you have to also remember is some of that, what they were saying was right. They just had the wrong approach. You're not a Chevy kind of person. You have to have options, and then sometimes even when you say no, you have to have a little bit more coaching, just maybe make sure it's okay. So you'll have other things come up. You'll have something come up down the road that you're definitely going to want to pay attention to and look for, but I just don't see it happening today.
Oh,
I know, bummer. And even short-term things, they wouldn't last a lot. They might think, "Oh, I'm getting hired tomorrow." Okay, well, the day after tomorrow, you're on job. And I don't think it's from them not wanting you. I think you're learning to express your boundaries a lot and just not allowing people to walk all over you when you're in the mundane stuff and not running off adrenaline. So let's let Ernesto give you some more specifics, because he may have a whole lot more positive to say about time frame.
Okay, so Linda, let me take a look here at your chart. I was on the wrong axis point for just a second, so let me catch up for a second. Here we go. So this is that one. Okay. All right. So what I'm seeing here as far as the job is concerned is I don't see this going anywhere. I think that the job that you're in right now, first question is, are you working?
mhm.
You are. So the job that you're in right now is quite stable. So I don't really see this changing to a whole lot. If anything, there's probably just a lot of boredom that's associated with it. And that's probably what brought you to us and kind of provoked the question about your career is where, is it going to get better? Because this is just sort of a day-to-day grind. And I'm kind of sick of it. Well, the great news is, number one, and this is sort of an aside that I'd have to take a look at in a paid consult or on our patron program kind of thing. That it looks like that this job where it's coming right now, I want to say that there's like a new relationship energy that's coming into the mix, and this is through like a coworker or somebody that you've met at the company where you're at. So that's what's keeping you in that, and I don't think that this person has quite materialized just yet, but it is absolutely on the horizon and definitely coming to you. So this is something that you should kind of prepare for. And I think that, like, as far as the job is concerned, you're not going to do a whole lot to change that just because it's stable and it does what it needs to do. It may not be the happiest or the most fun, but it's all right because it pays the bills and it creates a livelihood for yourself that at least allows you to have a roof over your head and utilities kind of thing. As far as what I could see, if you're really wanting to do something different, I just don't see it. Like if I could see you maybe moving to another company for a short period of time, but I think you'd probably end up back to where you started. So any changes that you would try to force right now, they're not going to stick. They're just going to send you right back to where you were, back to square one, or possibly even a little bit worse off. Like this company that you're at now says, sorry, we don't have room for you anymore. And then, you're kind of like, well, that sucks. I think that would probably backfire. So it wouldn't be wise to really change up a whole lot on the career. But if you wanted to try it, I would say go for it. But I don't think it's going to stick by any means. And that new relationship.
But what if I want to start my own? What if I wanted to start like my own like creative channel or something?
As far as that's coming, but that's not for a few more years yet. You don't have, because it's funny you mentioned that, because I was actually going to suggest to you maybe you should work as like a production
90 seconds.
Or doing something in motion picture television. That would be something good for you to do. But when I move the chart to where more of where you are right now, it's just not there. That opportunity would have presented itself a while ago. And now you're just sort of dealing with like the regret, I guess, of I didn't act when I should have. So, but I do feel like that there are some new opportunities for that coming in the future. So, you're still kind of getting your ducks in a row for that kind of thing. And, still plug away with
60
it
seconds.
as a hobby when you're available. But that'll be mostly how it goes for you. That's about all I really have to say here on that one, though. So, I do want to thank all of our guests here for joining us today. It was real as always. Thank you so much, Beretta, as always, for coming out. We will be back with you guys on Sunday for another 1 hour program. That'll be from 10 to 11 Arizona time. And that will just be our regular call-in show. Remember, if you were unable to get in through us tonight, to go out to our link tree and find the donation link to send us $10 to the show overhead. That does get you a front of the line pass, and we'll extend the show hours for you to make sure that we get that taken care of. All right. Well, it was perfect as always. Thanks so much for everything. And we will see you guys on our next show on Sunday at 10 a.m. Until next time, good luck and